So right off the bat here, it's saying that pot businesses are being threatened. Oh no, pot businesses. That is actually bullshit, okay? So pot businesses being threatened by this fucking prick right here, this asshole. Oh, look at me, I'm bald and I got a suit and I'm so important. This is the federal government with the memo. You had the memo, the fucking sessions and shit. So it's possible that the federal government they might try to fuck over Colorado. So U.S. Attorney Bob Troyer, Colorado's top federal prosecutor, and that was in 2012, says his office may take legal action against licensed marijuana business that violates state law, use their status under state law as a shield, but sell to the black market. The black market is exactly how the businesses of Colorado should make a shit ton of fucking money if these surrounding states don't get progressive and then they go fuck themselves. Here in Colorado, we got a right to our own bodies. And, yeah, you can kiss my ass, this fucking Troyer asshole. So, this is still, bullshit that's still happening. So, Colorado has been legal, marijuana's been legal in Colorado for 5 years, but these reactionaries keep on popping up out of nowhere. And that's bullshit. When it comes to the war on drugs, I believe in the libertarians more than the Democrats. The Democrats don't seem like they have many principles at all. They don't believe in any fucking thing. They don't believe in the corporations. They don't believe in the working class. They just bullshit their way to fucking power. Fuck you. Tell me what the fuck you stand for. Libertarians definitely will protect the marijuana industry. Those who are for Nixon's war on drugs, will you come after marijuana next, you pricks? I mean, let's open up these gates and just, open up the floodgates of freedom. So capitalism helps the poor. Socialism doesn't. This is John Pickerill. So, I like John Pickerill. I think the libertarians are better than Republicans and Democrats. Left libertarians, however, is the first natural. You must have left libertarians before you have libertarians because you just have a big free fucking market. Then the people that have nothing will always have nothing. They cannot compete against the rich. The rich can buy the fucking police and now they got all the fucking power, the guns and the money. So, shit. Everybody, until the homeless people and the poor people and working class people all have a chance, all have an acre, and it's in their name. It's going to be in their name forever, and they, got jobs, and until they have what the fucking rich have, security, then it's not a fair competition. So, hold on, let's talk about, so John Pickerill, he says, all the prosperity we enjoy today we owe to capitalism. Bullshit, not true. Social Security, right? How many old fucking people get all that Social Security? For decades, progressivist, why are you making it? It's progressivist. It's like he's trying to not call us I'm a progressive, so he's not talking about me. Progressivist, I don't know who a fucking progressivist is. Have attempted to challenge this notion. One of the most notable is Phil Donahue. It was 1979. You couldn't come up with an example 50 years ago. Well, I guess Phil Donahue, Milton Friedman, all right. Milton Friedman is the Chicago Boys right-wing economist. It seems like it's between Keynesian or Milton Friedman. Milton Friedman's all about laissez-faire economics, whereas Keynesian is about using government as an activist government to influence economics. So Donahue is like, hey, when you look around, the globe and everybody is so poor, don't you feel sad? And then Milton Friedman brilliantly turned the tables on Phil. Well, first of all, tell me, is there some society that you don't know that doesn't run on greed? Oh, okay, everybody runs on greed. Do you think Russia doesn't run on greed? Do you think China doesn't run on greed? What is greed? And then cracking a smile, of course none of us are greedy. It's only the other fellow who's greedy. Friedman then turned serious again and bore down. Could you imagine if your mother was greedy? He's like, nope, you do not get any diapers today. This is money. Well, I guess hands on Gretel. Anyways, why do I got like a little bald spot like right there? Like what's my hair up to? Like what? I kind of like the fuzz ball, sort of. Anyways, that's all superficial. Let's get back to these talking about ideas. The world runs on individuals pursuing their separate interests. The great achievements of civilization not come from government bureaus. Einstein didn't construct his theory under orders from a bureaucrat. Henry Ford didn't revolutionize the automobile industry. In the only cases in which the masses have escaped the kind of grinding poverty you're talking about, the only cases in recorded history are where they had capitalism and largely free trade. If you don't know where the masses are worse off, look at the other places. Seems to reward freedom. I don't know. Okay, so Hitler Do you think Hitler rewards virtue? You think, excuse me if you'll pardon me, do you think the American presidents reward virtue? Is it really true that political self-interest is nobler somehow than economic self-interest? It's a good thought. Please tell me where you find these angels who are going to organize this society. Does the governor reward virtue? Economic prosperity, especially for the poor, doesn't come from government programs. The record of history is clear. It comes from individuals who enjoy freedom from government micromanagement and decisions about their lives, their businesses, their property, and their philanthropy. So, John Pickerill is a smart man. He believes what he believes, and libertarians are at least more honest, right? They're basically Republicans are libertarians, but they don't want to fucking say it, right? They're bullshitters. And maybe Democrats are supposed to be socialists, but they're fucking nothing. So let me first address that it has not just been capitalism. In fact, we don't even have a pure laissez-faire capitalism today. Try to have a yard sale. Try to put a sign out in your yard in Castillo County. You'll get fined $200. You cannot put a sign out in your yard unless you pay a $200 permit to sell your goddamn corn. So it's a desert. It's a cold-ass desert there. It's freezing cold. There's no water. They only rains 8 inches a year. And then it's 46 degrees most of the time. It's got a lot of sunshine, but it's cold as fuck, right? So 46, it's above freezing, but it's cold all the time. It's cold, 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 dry, dry, dry. You need, some heat and electric and water and sewage. None of that's out there. They don't have, but they'll take your damn sign away. You need a job to live in America. If not, you'll die, but they'll take your signs away. So that's that is some bullshit. I do believe in freedom. I believe in personal freedom, personal political freedom, somewhat for the corporations. I wish we all had small businesses. I wish there were seeding programs for small businesses. It just seems like I have to, rob a fucking bank? I got to get some motherfucking millionaire to give me $5,000 just to be able to start a fucking business. I would make a shit ton of fucking money, but unfortunately, there's nothing out here like that. So I have to find a goddamn job, right, to get some daily income to be able to pay off my mortgage payments and this and that. So capitalism helps the poor, socialism doesn't. We don't have pure laissez-faire capitalism. If I can only raise 6 marijuana plants. If I raise any more than 6 marijuana plants, I can't sell them. If I collect sunshine and I have a battery, I can't sell that electricity to my neighbors. So there's a lot of stupid shit like that if we're laissez-faire capitalist, we should be able to have yard sales whenever the fuck we want. We're capitalist. We buy and sell shit. That's what capitalism does, or capitalists do. But in this country, there's cities that shut down yard sales. There's cities that shut down, the free market, the free exchange of goods and services. And so that's unfortunate. So we're not really a pure capitalism. I think we're a mixed system. We're not purely capitalist and we're not purely socialist. Socialist in terms of welfare, welfare nanny state. There's some programs, social security, public libraries, public education system, from the kindergarten to the elementary schools, to the middle school, to the high school, post offices, roads, so the road department. There's a lot of socialists. There's a lot of welfare. The government gives lots of welfare to the public in different ways. So, again, Social Security, old people, disabled people, they get a check. We get free roads to drive on. These are our streets, our sidewalks, this bought and paid for with public dollars. Police services, fire services, these are also socialist welfare nanny state, taxpayer, shit that's bought and paid for the people. So to ignore all those things, then what? We got Medicare, Medicaid, the military, that's public welfare. They are getting public works. So it's not welfare because they're working, but they're working at how to kill people. So doing training, if they're actually doing like missions, all right. But if they're sitting around just kind of washing trucks and shit, well, that's just a nice public works program. There are public works programs out there. We could do more of them. I would be in favor of public works program. If somebody wants to make $50, they should be able to go into the government somewhere and be able to work a day and make themselves $50. So I like that we're a mixed system. I wish we were more honest about it, because I think a universal basic income would really streamline the socialistic aspect of our society, because it seems like, the public schools only till you're 18, right? So and you're stuck in it. They're totalitarian institutions, so they're actually damaging you, like the jails. But they're, if you can, I don't know, if you come from a good household, you might be able to take school and make something out of it. But the education, I don't know who's going to sit there and say, let's cut, childhood education, let kids run around everywhere. Healthcare, they probably would say no healthcare. But I'm just saying that we're a mixed system. So to say what? Oh, yeah, and there's some big land grants. You had the Desert Land Grant, then you had the Homestead Act. So Abraham Lincoln in 1862 is given 160-acre tracts of land to anybody that wants to just sit on it and cultivate it for 5 years. So all you do is fill out an application. You got 160 fucking acres with Abraham Lincoln's Land Grant Homestead Act of 1862. So imagine if the people didn't get, 160 fucking acres 150 years ago, where would they be now? So these ranchers and all these people that got these big tracts of land and shit, they were given, the government gave them that fucking land. And so home ownership, I wish we had savings and loans programs that was trying to get people into home ownerships. I think Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, they do some shit like that. Really, there's a lot of services out there. I have no idea what the fucking state or the federal government does for me. I basically ignore them, and I bet there's probably like programs and shit where they could help me. I'm a first-time home buyer, right? So I don't know. But my point is, throughout history, it's not clear that we haven't had pure capitalism. We don't have pure laissez-faire capitalism today. And then throughout American history, there's been land reforms. There's the social, redistribution of wealth. Lots of different things. So to just say that the history of America once you got your fucking Social Security check, then maybe you could just, live out your days. Or maybe you could save that. That's a check you could save. You could get, I don't know if you're not allowed to get a job, but you get some under-the-table job, right? So where you're making money under the table. My point being that you could use the socialist, my understanding of freedom, if it works right, if the government's helping you, then a socialist check helps you become a capitalist. Getting food stamps, that adds money to your pockets. And by getting a $200 check for food from the government, that gives you more money in your pocket for clothing, for gasoline, for other shit that you need. So the socialism increases your freedom. In Denmark, 80%, the tax rate of Denmark is 80%, and it's that high because they pay for everything. So they don't have to worry about shit. They don't have to worry about healthcare, education, vacations, stress, none of it. So everything's paid for, right? So because they have a welfare state, then they're the happiest nation, and they're capitalism. They're a better capitalist country because that's where people want to live, where the standard, where the quality of life is high. So I do not think that it's clear that capitalism helps the poor and socialism does not. The whole argument is that if you, like old people get a fucking Social Security check, so they're going to be dependent on it. Yeah, they are. They're going to stay on that check until the end. But universal basic income, I mentioned this. I wonder if he actually knows this. Almost about be worth, zoning. There's zoning, so there's barriers to entry when it comes to capitalism, right? There's yard sales. You can't do yard sales. Zoning says you can't, put an American flag up on your land. Milton Friedman was for a universal basic income. So if he's going to quote Milton Friedman and Martin Luther King Jr. were for a universal basic income to stop poverty. And that's given a check. That actually eliminates poverty. Just give the poor a check like Social Security. And then once the poor have a check, then the poor have a fighting chance. And it's not just the poor getting a check. Everybody gets a check. What the rich can't spend $10,000, it probably won't be as important to them as it would be for us. But having universal basic income gives everybody a check. It gets rid of poverty right off the bat. Gone, eliminated forever. We've abolished poverty as soon as we institute universal basic income. Hillary Clinton mentioned it after the campaign that she wanted to do something like that. If she would have mentioned that, then maybe I would have actually seen that she was a progressive instead of the right-wing, warmongering piece of shit that, both of them basically are. So, Milton Friedman is for a universal basic income. Is John Pickerill, is he for a universal basic income? And where the fuck is Leroy Garcia on any of these issues? I know that Pickerill is against the war on drugs, and Pickerill is at least talking about poverty and the poor. Does Leroy Garcia, is he going to do shit about the poor? Has he got a war on poverty? Does he have any ideas? Does he have any planks to his platform? What the fuck is he going to do about the poor and the homeless? What the fuck is he going to do for the working class? Leroy Garcia, is he going to stop the war on drugs? He isn't? Then elect John Pickerill, okay? But I think John Pickerill is the step after left libertarian. So when we all get a universal basic income check, then let's all, be libertarians. I do not feel sorry for that poor person or that homeless person. What'd you do with your check? You had $10,000. America gave you a $10,000 gift every year. And you spent it on heroin, and now you're back on the street? Fuck you. Fuck you. You had a fucking chance, and you blew it. Maybe, next year when you get your check, maybe you could spend it wiser. But I bet you also knowing that he's going to get a check next year, people with housing and rental properties and what the fuck ever will say, well, he fucked up this year, but I'll give him a chance next year because he'll have a check, he'll have some money. So that actually elevates people's, respect for the poor. And anyways. Yeah, so Milton Friedman's for universal basic income. Is John Pickerill? I hope he is, because Milton Friedman, it's both Martin Luther King Jr., probably the Democratic Socialist, all right, one of the biggest lefties, and Milton Friedman, one of the biggest righties, both agree on it. That seems to be, let's go forward. Let's get universal basic income. What's up? What's up, Pueblo?